All right guys, in this video we're going to talk all about what I call the new model of wealth. All I mean by the new model of wealth is in the past, you got a 9-to-5 job, you worked it for 30 plus years, and you retired with some social security, maybe a little bit of a pension. Nowadays, what people want you to believe is you're supposed to do something similar, right? You'll work for a handful of different companies, you save your money in a 401k, and then at 65, 67, they keep pushing the number back, right? You're supposed to retire and just be happy. But what if there was a new model to do this? And you've maybe even seen a lot of this on the internet already, where you see people that are a lot younger with a bunch of money and they're living a totally different kind of lifestyle. How do you actually create that model of wealth? That's what we're going to break down in a video today. So be sure to like, subscribe, share this channel if you like content like this, and let's get right into it. So if you think about how to create that model of wealth, all you're really doing is creating the opportunity for more income, in particular more passive income earlier in life. And there's certain skills and things that need to be done if you're going to create that. I promise you it's probably going to take more than just working your 9-to-5 job and saving money in a 401k. That model cannot be created like that. So how do you actually create it? Well, step one is you need to create what I call a high income producing skill. And how do you define high income? Really, if you want that kind of wealth, that model of wealth, I'd say something that can give you somewhere in the $250,000 range net of taxes. And for some of you, that sounds like a massive number, and that's okay, but it is something that you can do. What kind of skills allow you to create that kind of income? Especially create that kind of income in a way that maybe you can do it from home or you can do it from anywhere in the world that don't require you to work for a boss. There's a bunch of different skills you could have. There's sales, there's affiliate marketing. The ones that we're gonna focus on in this video are trading and business. Creating a trading business and creating an online business where you're actually selling products. We're gonna focus on those two particular skills, but the income ceiling for each of those skills can get you above that $250,000 mark. Having a skill like that is going to be important if you wanna create this new model of wealth, because the only way you're likely going to get there is if you can increase your ability to create income. Without enough income, you're not going to be able to do the rest of the steps in this model. And this is what separates kind of your people that are there and the people that may never get there, that are going to stay on that traditional path and always have to work a 9-to-5 and have a little bit of retirement portfolio income, maybe some social security if they're lucky, but that's basically it. Have to have that high income producing skill in order to increase the income and do the rest of the steps. But let's assume you've created that skill. You've invested in your trading knowledge, or you've invested in your business knowledge. You know how to do it really well, and you're putting yourself in position to create that $250,000. Maybe you're not there yet, but you have the skill to get there. What do we do next? Well, step two of this model is about creating scale and leverage. And what I mean by that is ultimately, if you're going to increase that income threshold higher, you need to scale that skill. And ideally, you create a little bit of leverage. So you're creating more time back by developing that skill. And we're gonna get specific with how exactly you do that with each one of these. And we'll start with trading. So if you think about trading, let's say you have the skill, but maybe you're only able to do, 5K a month, which for some people is great. That may be all you want, but if we're talking about $250,000 and funding a new model of wealth, we're gonna need a little bit more than that, right? So how do you actually scale up your trading? Well, one efficient way to do this is by getting yourself funded. A lot of times it should not be more activity, more trades that increases that income, or trying to trade on multiple different things that's outside of your normal approach. You just need more money to keep doing the same things that you're already doing. And getting yourself funded is, in my opinion, the best way to do this. So if your strategy works on a $10,000 account or on a $50,000 account, you can go get yourself funded at a $500,000 account, $250,000 account, and now you can do the same thing you were doing before, maybe even put less risk on each individual trade, and you've created that $250,000 threshold. So that's how you would scale your trading. is you just go get yourself access to more capital. There's lots of ways to do that. We teach our students how to do that. But that's a way that you can scale your trading skill to that income threshold. Well, how do you actually scale your business skills to that threshold? One of the things that are kind of unique and that I like about what I've created in my own asset plan is I have both trading and business. And one of the things that I ran into with business, I couldn't do it all on my own. So you can get it to, as an example with my online business, I was able to get into that 25, 50K a month range but that's all I could do by myself. So in order to get it to 100K a month, I had to bring on additional coaches. I had to bring on additional sales reps to get it past 100K to closer to that 250, 300K range. I had to expand the team even further. So scaling your business, creating more leverage with your business is all about people. It's about creating the team around you to get your business to that level. So if you find yourself with an online business now and maybe you're stuck at like a 10K a month level, a 5K a month level, it's the people that are gonna help you expand and get to a point where you can do that $250,000 net a year. And that's really step 2 of the new model of wealth, is we've created the income skill, you've learned it, you're good at it, you have enough knowledge to be successful with it over the long haul, and we've scaled it to a level where you have that income threshold. Now what do we do next? Because like that's the end, right? We've created a $250,000 net, we're just done, right? Well, the truth is you probably don't want to be working forever. And how do we actually take the skill and the income that we're creating from it and create something passive from it? Because we want to be able to eventually get to that $250,000 net passively, not actively. And trading and business are both very active. You need to be involved in doing it. So how do we make it more passive? Well, this is where we start funding passive compounding assets. And this could be something like a stock portfolio, it could be something like a real estate portfolio. Those are really kind of the main ones that you'll hear about, but it's funding assets that can produce income for you either now or down the road that don't require your time and energy to create that income. So you're taking portions of that income that you've created and you're funneling it into these passive assets that will compound for you over time. Now there's some delayed gratification with this, right? If you wanted to live off of a $250,000 net a year and you're creating it with your business or your trading, that means you have to sacrifice some of that in order to fund these passive assets. And this is something that some people just aren't willing to do. You see it all over the internet, people drive around in Lambos, houses that they probably shouldn't be paying for yet, taking way too many vacations, just spending money like crazy. A lot of times these are people that have created the income threshold but skip this step, skip step 3 of funding the passive compounding assets. And this is what's going to create true freedom for you, because what you want to get to is a point where, hey, we've funded these assets from our income, whether it be real estate, stock portfolio, and now they can produce enough for you to recreate that income passively. And that's really what step 4 is all about. Now we're taking distributions from those passive assets, and we're doing so in a tax efficient way. One of the reasons I picked on a stock portfolio and real estate is because you can take tax efficient distributions from both of these vehicles. So the earned income we've created before get taxed as ordinary income. So trading, if you're doing it short term, business are all gonna get taxed at your ordinary income tax rates, which if you're making a $250,000 net plus, I mean, we're talking about potentially 30 to 40% plus state tax is what you're essentially looking at from a tax standpoint. But stock portfolio, long-term capital gains currently at that level would be taxed more at 20%. Real estate portfolio, you can offset all kinds of expenses to make that more tax efficient. So the point is, we've created the high income skill. You've scaled that high income skill to a level to create real impressive wealth. You funneled it into passive assets that will compound for you to be able to recreate that income. And those assets also happen to allow for tax efficient distributions for you. And that's really how you create this new model of wealth. The cool thing about this, guys, and why it's worth pursuing this kind of road, is it doesn't have to take 30 plus years like the traditional path. And that's what most people do. They'll spend 30 plus years following the traditional path just to have less money than you could have by following this new model and having it take a lot longer to get there. So you could do this in 3 to 10 years and have all of this stuff set up and paying you more than you would have had you just followed that traditional model. Now it takes work, right? It takes time, it takes energy, it takes effort. You need to learn the skills. You need to commit to funding those skills into those assets. You need to scale them to the appropriate levels. Those are things that most people aren't willing to do, but you have the choice. You can do it, but it starts with learning the skills. So to wrap up this video, I'd make a commitment this week to choose the skill that you're going to use to increase your income and really go hard on it, pursue it, and take things to the next level so you can experience that model of wealth too. We'll see you on the next one, guys.